This is a web tutorial. We will be talking today about Mysql query. In the previous example, we've already explained to you how to log into your Mysql database, making use of either mobile phpMyAdmin or the web phpMyAdmin. But right now, we are going to talk about the query that involves. And we've already explained to you the type of query. In the previous example, when we are trying to create a database, we are trying to create a table making use of a script. So a script is just a code that, as in, you place on a particular page on your website, and your site visitor can have access. So it is through this script that your web visitor will be able to connect to your database, because normally you can't give them the username and password for them to log into your database. So they can only have access to your database via the script. But another thing I want you to understand is, when we are talking about forms, we've already explained to you how to create a form making use of HTML during the time we are creating a forms. Like this one we have right now is an example of a form. This is a form. It has how many feet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This form now has 9 feet. So look at your Facebook account now. What you are seeing here, that as in this place now, they said you should write a comment. What you are seeing right now is also a form, but this is what we refer to as what? The text area. Is a text area. I believe I've already explained what we mean by text area for you. And what you are seeing here presently now is a text feed. It's also a form. So anything that accepts inputs on the web is what we refer to as a form. So, and that form, irrespective of whatever feed that your form may have. Look at this web tutor now. We said this one has the registration form in the web tutor. We said it has 9 forms. I said it has 9 feet. Sorry. So a form can have 1 million feet. A form can have 1 or more 1 million feet. So like this form that you are seeing presently right now, it has how many feet? It has only 1 feet. Look at this form. The one you write comment on, it has how many feet? It has 1 feet. It's also a form. What you are seeing here now is also, this one also is a form, and this form contains how many feet? 5 feet. This is also a form. So, but note one thing: when you want to connect your database, maybe you want your user to connect your database, you need a form. So you need a form, you need a database. But there is something we refer that will connect this form that you have now. There is something that will connect it directly to your database, and that thing is what we refer to as a script. Very good example for you when we are trying to create a database, create a table making use of a script in the previous tutorial. But this time around, we are going to explain to you how your form is being connected to your database. Right, when you are filling a form now, maybe you are filling a registration form of any website now. You go to the registration page, you fill the information, your information inside there, and you click on register. The next thing is, by the time you go to login, you will be able to log into your account. Why? Because when you register, your information has been connected. The information you type in the registration form has been connected via a script. What I mean is this: when you register in a site, your information, the information you press when you register in the site, the information you press inside the form has been connected to your database. And what connects a form to your database, I've already explained to you, that is what is a script. What connects your forms to your database is what we refer to as a script. So right now, there are types of scripts. We have a type of scripts. We have types of scripts. There are 4 types of scripts that you should know. Note one thing: what is a script? A script is just like an intermediary, a PHP script. Let me call it that way. A PHP script is just an intermediary between your forms and your database. What connect? Okay, look at it now. By the time I type this in now and I click on register, all this information, let me say this is a web tutor site now. All this information now, before we know it now, is going to be stored in web tutor database. It's going to be stored in web tutor database. How come? It's just there is something that is acting at the background that try to connect this form to your database, and that thing is what we refer to as scripts. So there are 4 types of scripts. The first script is the insert command, or for you to understand, let's just call it insert scripts. For you to understand, let's just call it insert script. And what the insert script, what it does is this: if your information is not present in database before, and you are trying to put that information in database, you make use of what? Insert scripts. Like right now, in any registration page, of any website now, the forms make use of what? It makes use of the insert script. Because what if I press, maybe I choose the login, I said admin. This admin, since admin is not present in the database before, this user admin has not registered before in the database. By the time you click on register, what will happen? The information that is here that the user entered now is going to be stored inside database, making use of what? Making use of the insert command. Because the information is not already in the database. So by the time you create a form as a web administrator, when you create a form, you make use of insert command, so that by the time the user fill in his information, all you do is what? Is the script connects the information that the user fill, connect it to the what? To the database, and the information is being stored in the database. Let me give you an example now. Other example of insert form is in your Facebook page. In your Facebook page now, let's say you want to write a comment. If I say I now to this person and I click on enter, you discover that the I has entered. But you know that this I now is not already present in the database before. So, but once I type my info, once I type an information and I click on send button. Once I write an information, I click on send button, and I click on Once I write an information and I click on send button, what happens is that the information that I put here in this form, this is a form. I've told you that this is also a form, but it's just that this form has only one field. The information I put on this form, what will it do? The information needs to be connected to the database. And how will it connect? It needs a script to connect it to the database. And what the type of script that they use here? Since the information is not present, if I say, okay, I like you. If I say I like you now, since I like you now is not present on this person wall before, it's not present on the wall. Can you see now? These are the message I sent to this person now. The I like you is not present in the message I have sent now. Since it's not present, since I'm trying to insert a new comment, to this person. So the owner, the web administrator of this particular page, which is Facebook, the web administrator, they are going to use a insert command in this place, so that by the time I click I like you and I click on enter, what will happen? Is going to be added to it. So that's just about insert command. The other command that we have, another command we have is the select command. What do you refer to as select command? You will discover that if I come to, maybe let me say for example now, let me log out on my account here now. Let me log out. Now I've logged out. We are on the select command. What the select command did? What it does is this. Look at it now. If already there in any registration form of any site, the scripts that they use to connect this form now to the database is what we refer to as what? The insert scripts. Because whatever information that I press here, since my information is not already present in the database, by the time I click on sign up now, there is something that will connect my information and that will be able to store my information inside the database. That is what we refer to as a script. But the kind of script must be what? It must be an insert script, because my information is not present already in the database. So it must be an insert script that will connect this form now to and store it inside the database. But look at login forms. What is the kind of, this is a form, this is also a form. This is login form now. Look at login form. What do you think? What type of scripts will connect this login form to the database? The type of, like now, whatever I input here now, my email, and whatever I input here, my password. By the time I click on login now, what the system will do is that the system is going to search this email and this password. Maybe it's present in what? In Facebook database. If the two are present in Facebook database, what will happen? Then I'll be directed to my profile page. But if the two are not present in Facebook database, then what will I see? I will see something like username or password not correct. So what I'm just trying to say is that right now the there is something that will connect this form to the database, and that is what we refer to as the script. But the kind of scripts that we use whenever we are creating the login forms is what? Make use of the select command. That is, we make use of the what? The select scripts. So right now, if I want to create a login forms now, I will create the forms, and the script that I will now use to connect the form to the database will now be what? A select script. So right now, if I press username and password now, if I click on login now, if my username and password is also present in Facebook database, what will happen? Due to the fact that Facebook, they use a select script during the creation of their form, then what will happen? I will be taken to my profile page. So that's just about what? The select script. So the other things that we have is what? The update command or update script. The update script. And what this one does is this. For example, now let's say you have a comment now. Maybe for example now, let's go to under your edit profile. Under your edit profile. Normally my current city is Akure. I'm in Akure. Let me now say I want to change it to that I'm in Ondo. I can easily go to this place. This is a form. You can see this is a text box. They just designed the text box, but it's still a normal text box like the one you have here. I will explain to you when we are dealing with HTML how to create this text box. So right now, if I want to change my current city now, I can change it to Kogi. Then what will I do? I will click on what? Save changes. What will happen now? Before, Akure is present as my city in the database. My current city in the database, in Facebook database, is Akure. But right now, when I click on Kogi and I click on save changes, what will happen? That Akure that is present in the database, that Akure that is present in Facebook database will be automatically changed to what? To Kogi. So by the time I log in back to my profile, what will I see? I'll be seeing Kogi because I have used what? This form now. What the kind of script that they use to connect this form to the database is what referred to as what? The update script. So whenever you want to create a forms that will be updating the data from the database, let's say for example now, I want to update my data now, my hometown. I will just click on edit. So this is my hometown. I'm in Ibadan, Nigeria. This is my hometown. But I can easily update this hometown now. I can easily update it to maybe Oshogbo. So if I update it to Oshogbo, then I will just click on what? Save changes. Oshogbo. Sorry. Oshogbo. So I can update it to Oshogbo. Then what will I do? Once I click on changes now, normally before I click on this save changes now, can you see now? It has been saved, Oshogbo. So by the time I log into my profile, even if I log in more than 1 million times, I will not see that Ibadan there again, because I have now changed my hometown to what? To Oshogbo. So, but what we have here, when you click on the edit, what we have here now, whatever we have in this form now, this is a form. So we need to connect this form to the database. So what Facebook will do is that when they are programming this form, they are going to use a script. And what the work of that script will be, it will be to update the data, this particular data. So the data that they are trying to collect here is the hometown that they are trying to collect here. So the data they are trying to collect here is what? Is the hometown. So if I change this hometown to Ibadan now, if I change it to Ibadan and I click on save changes, the Oshogbo that is already in the database, in Facebook database before, is going to be updated to what? To Ibadan. So that's just about the update script. And the last one we have is what? Is the delete script. And what this one does is this. Maybe for example now, let's say you've posted a comment. Maybe in Facebook now, let's say let's say for example now, I have some comments that I've posted. And maybe I didn't like the comment. I can delete those comments. So that means for example now, let me give you an example. Let me give you an illustration. Let's go to messages. So my messages has opened. Let's say for example, this is a message now. Somebody sent a message to me, Velon Sabina. Maybe for example now, this is my profile now, and this is a message on my profile. But you know that all these things is due to what? The select command. It's usually this select script that by the time I click on messages, I was able to see all the messages that is already in the database. That is, I was able to select it from the database, and the database. So is the script, what you are seeing here now, what you are seeing now, right now, here now, is also a form. It's a form. But what this form does is that I'm not inputting anything inside this form. But what it does is that this form has a script, and what the script does is the script is going to select all the messages that I have in Facebook database. Is going to select them. So this is just a select. So right now it has select a lot of messages. Now I have a message from Velom Sabina. If I don't like this message now and I want to delete this message, all I need to do is I'll just click on this fellow Selena. I'll go to action, then I can click on what? Delete message. So it's asking me that for confirmation that are you sure you want to delete the message? I'll just say delete. So what happened now? I've used a form to delete. So right now you not see anything like Velon Sabina again in my, once the page finish loading, you not see anything like Velon Sabina again. It will have been deleted. So right now whenever you want to delete something in your user profile, you want to create a form, you can create a form that will be deleting a particular thing. So you make use of the word, the delete scripts. So this is just the 4 types of scripts that we have. So irrespective of whatever, however the site that you are on, irrespective of whatever, as in however the site may be advanced, maybe Facebook, Twitter, they make use of what? Of 4 scripts. The insert scripts, whenever they are creating maybe like a registration forms, like any forms that input information to the database. The select form, whenever they are creating a login, the select script, sorry, whenever they are creating a login or form, or maybe they are trying to select information from the database. Like for example now, when you log in now to Facebook, automatically it will bring your name, it will bring your picture, it will bring your profile, it will bring your date of birth, it will bring everything information about you that is already saved in Facebook database. So all those kind of thing, it's selecting them. So all those information is selecting them from the database. So that's what we refer to as what? The select scripts. So you make use of select scripts in that. So like all this creating of login forms, or creating of maybe by the time you log in your profile page where it selects all your information, then you make use of the select script there. And the next thing is the update script. When you are, maybe you want to create something like, maybe you are a web administrator and you want to create something like edit profile for a user. So that when your user click on edit profile, you bring a form, and that form they can be able to edit their name, their email. When you want to create this kind of forms, you make use of the edit scripts, update scripts. Then the last one is the delete scripts. Let's say for example now you have created a particular object in your site that the user can use to post an information. So you can create something like a delete script there, so that they can, if I post like 4 information and I discover that it is only 3 that I like there, I can delete 1 and the other 2, as in the other 3 will still be there. So the web administrator must put a delete script there, so that I'll be able to delete. But if the web administrator does not put any of these scripts there, then whatever they put there is what you are going to have access to as a user. So these are the 4. So what we are trying to do right now is that we are going to talk about these 4 scripts. We are going to teach you how you are going to program these 4 scripts with maybe your forms. Maybe how we are going to create a forms that is going to make use of these 4 scripts. But believe me, by the time you learn these 4 scripts, you'll be able to create any site. You'll be able to create any site that have login, registration forms, sign up page, all those kind of informations. Then you'll be able to know how to build sites that have all those functions. So right now in this, this is just an introduction to the type of scripts. So what we are trying to do right now, the first one we are trying to talk about is what? The insert scripts. We call it insert query, Mysql insert query. So before we can talk about query, or we can talk about script, or we can even talk about forms, your database must have been created. So right now, before we talk about this insert script, now let's first go to the first steps. by creating our database. So let's create a database so that we will use that database to create, as in to test the login forms, the registration forms, the updating forms, the deleting forms. So that it will be our database that we're going to use to test all this information. So because before you have any form, maybe if I web administrator, when you create the forms will not work except the database is already created. So but in the case of this, in the course of this tutorial now, what we want to teach you is how to build the forms that will make use of all these 4 commands. How to create a forms that will make use of all you've already know how to create a forms when you are dealing with HTML. But right now we want to create a forms that will make use of these 4 commands, and that's the reason for this tutorial. But before we can do that, before we can create a form that will make use of these 4 commands, we must create a database first. We must have a database. So let me log into my database, my mobile PHP admin. So let me create a database and name it my username _db. One is already there before, but let me delete this so that you understand. Let me delete this so that you understand. I've already created market _db before. So right now let's create a database. When you log into your PHP admin, if your database is not there before, but if you have the name that of database you want to use right now, the best thing is for you to delete that name so that you won't have any error by the time you are creating a new database. So just because I have already created a database with the name, I have already created a database with the name that is present is here, so that's why I have to delete it. So but in case you don't have the name already created, so the best thing is you can just follow the tutorial directly. So we should create a database and we should name it. Let's create a database. So let's click on create database. So what should we name it? Your username, my username is markets _db. The database will be my username _db. That's the name of our database. My username is market _db. So I already have market _db before, that's why I delete that one so that you understand. So I've created the database now, market _db. So the next step is they ask me to create a table that have 4 fields, and I should name it. The name of the table is users. So let me create a table because this my market does not have table, that's why you see no table. So let me create a table. So the name of our table, we said it should be users and it should have 4 fields. So what are the definition of the field? The first field is ID. First field is ID. The second field is username. The third field is password, and the fourth field is email. The second field is username. The third field is password, and the fourth field is what? Is email. So the first field is auto increment and it has integer and auto increment. And I've already told you that whatever have integer does not need to have length. So we are not going to put it. It says they didn't even put length. But just know whatever have auto increment does not need to. But anything that have varchar will have length. That's why all these ones have length. So our username have varchar. Is data type varchar and length of 100. Username data type varchar and length of 100. Password varchar length of 100. Varchar length of 100. And email varchar length of 100. I believe I've already under the Mysql and PHP data types. I've already explained under that video. I've already explained to you what the data types mean and the reason for you making use of this varchar and integer. I believe I've already explained to you. So right now, if all is set, we've named everything and we have created a table. We name it there is 4 feed there. Here is 4 feed. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's already 4. And we name it user. We've finished the definition. Then we can save our table. So we have created. Here now they say that the first step now under the insert query, insert scripts. Under the insert scripts now, we said insert data using PHP script. That's under the insert script. The first step is we should create a database. We've already created that. So we name it create a table. So the second set. So now this is just the script we are trying to run. So this is just the the insert script. Normally this tutorial is just talking about the insert script. We are starting with insert script or insert command. So but all these ones that all these 4 steps now is just for us to create our database. Before we can use any of the 4 commands, a functional database must already be created. A functional database must already be created. So let's run the insert script. Let's run this insert script. So we'll copy this. So we are going to copy this. We will copy this. So I've copied it. So the next thing is, let me go to my FTP. Let me log into my FTP. www directory. So let's create a file. Let's name it inserts. I've told you, whenever you are creating a script, a PHP script, whenever you are trying to run a PHP script, it must be .php extension. Let's create this insert.php. You can name this file any name. You can name it registration form.php, because we are dealing with an insert script, insert command. So it may be a registration form. I've told you that whenever we are talking about insert command, we are talking about something that we store information of user inside database, because the information we believe that is not present before. A user has not already registered. If a user have registered in the site now, you don't need to use a registration form again to register another time. It's not possible. So you can save this name with any. You can use any name to save this particular file. You can use maybe registration forms and stuff like that. So but now, for the course of this tutorial, we are going to use insert.php. So the script will copy here now. So we are going to paste it here now. So normally this is just a PHP insert script. PHP insert scripts. PHP insert scripts. So now these are our PHP insert scripts. So irrespective of whatever registration forms that you want to create, or any forms that is going to be inputting something into the database, you'll be making use of these scripts. It's just there are some things you just be changing there. But irrespective of the site that you want to build, all you just need to do is just copy and save this particular script. So whenever you want to work or you want to design site for anybody, you can be making use of these scripts. So with this script, by the end of this script now, you'll be able to understand all about creating a registration forms, a working registration forms. It's not just ordinary registration form that it will not post to the database. A registration form that will be able to post to the database. That's what we are going to learn after this, by the time we finish all this. So right now this is a insert script, and let's see how it works. This insert script has a form. HTML form. I believe I've already explained to you how to create a form. So this insert script has a HTML form. This is the form. So it has a form. Let me save this file so that I will preview to you how the forms look like. So let's run our program. Inserts.php. Can you see? It has form. How many fields now? It has 3 fields. The username, the password, the email. You discover that all these fields are what we create for our table here. It's only ID that is not there, but I will still explain what this ID, what it stands for. I will explain it for you. But these 3 fields are there. So these 3 fields is the same field that we need in our form. So whenever a user types any information here and the user click on register now, we believe this information should be stored with what? Inside this table. That's what we are trying to achieve with the script. But right now, this is your database, this is your form, So there is something that will connect this form that you are having here to the database, and that is what we refer to as well the PHP scripts. And by the time we go to inside this file, inside.php now, I only show you the forms. This is the form aspects. The form you are seeing now, this form that you are seeing now, this is the aspects. So by the time the user click on register now, that is when the script aspects, all this one that you are seeing now is the script aspects. So by the time somebody click on register now, so the script is now going to connect the data that the user enter on this form. It will now connect it to the database. So the script that is going to connect them, that's going to connect the form to the database, this is the scripts. So we are going to explain to you what this scripts, how it works. So this is the script. The script is where we connect this form now, this form that is going to connect it to what? The database. So right now, let's see how our script, how it works. So right now in this script now, I've told you anytime we are trying to connect with a script to the database, I've told you in the previous example, we have to connect to our database. It's compulsory. It's just that this connection now, we are the owner, when the user, whenever you give the user the registration link, like this link now, the user is going to come here to come and register. But right now in this link now, did they say anything like your username, your PHP admin username? Did they say anything like that? They will never see it. But at the back end, username is needed for you to connect this form to the database. Password is needed for you to connect this form to the database. But yes, that user is not going to see this thing, but this thing are needed for you to connect to your database. So that is why we put the information inside the scripts. So that's why we need the script. So now let's explain. So we need to connect. So but this connection, something that will connect this form to the database, the username and the password, is what is inside the scripts at the back end. So user can see that. The only thing user is going to see is the form aspects. The form, this is the form, and that's what the user is seeing presently now. So anything that is inside the scripts, the scripting parts from here now, anything that is inside this part, the user is not going to see it. But this scripting part is where we connect the user data to the database. So let's explain that now. The first thing is you have to change your username to your own username. My own username is Market, so that's why I will leave it like that. And my password is what? Is Kwati@2014. This is my password to connect to my own database. Your own will be different, but check the email that we sent you during the course of your registration. You will see I've told you that whenever you want to connect to your database, your FTP, you are going to be using the cPanel username and password. So it's the cPanel username and password that we are going to use to connect to your both FTP and your PHP admin. So your own, just get the email we sent you, you will see this information there. So if this information is there, and I've told you that this one is always localhost, is always localhost. So if this information is correct, if this information is not correct, you are going to see something like error, could not connect. But if the information is correct, then it will jump this place, then it will go to this place. I've already explained all this place for you. If the information that you supply here is not correct, you will see could not connect error. But if the information that you supply here is correct, then it's something will just jump out here. So the other thing that we need to explain, I've explained up here, and I believe I've explained this aspect also, all this form from year to year. I've explained it for you, because when we are talking about HTML, I've explained how to create an HTML form for you. So this one is not the problem. So the only thing we need to explain right now is from year to year. So I've explained this up side is to connect your database. So but this is where your data, normally to connect this form to your database is where you need your username and password. So but what the user entered inside this thing, you need to connect the data that the user enter. You need to connect the data, and you not store the data inside the table. So this code now, this line of code, don't get me wrong, all this line of code, what they do is what? They just connect this total form. They connect all this total form, they connect to the database. But this line of code now, what it does is what? It connects the user data. The user that is, if a user come now on this form now and they click add as his username, this user at this particular moment now, the information that the user type now, the information will now be connected to this database and store inside this database. So is this code that does it. After that, all this code up here now is what we refer to as the script, the insert script. So this is where we use the insert query. This is what they call insert query. All these things that you are seeing now is insert script or insert command. Insert script or insert command, and I believe you know what the insert script, what it does, or insert command. So when inside a insert script and insert command, we make use of the insert query, and that's what we are trying to talk about up here, the insert query. And you will see is the insert query now. So here now, all these things that you have here now. So let me just explain to you now. In the insert query, we said insert, we use the query, that's why we use the SQL query, the insert query. Insert into, that's it, we are talking to the form. Now insert into this form now, we are talking to the form now that you should insert into users. What is users? I told you that whatever is this, whatever is in front of into is your table name. Insert into whatever is in front of your table, your into whatever is in front of it is your table name. And what is our table name? Our table name is what? Is users. We are talking to the form. We said to the form, okay, insert into users. Talking to the form that by the time you click on register now, we want you to insert into users. So as long as your table name is different now, whatever the names that you have here, but for our own table name we use users. That's why we supply users here. But if your table name is different, just change these users to whatever table name you use. So how many fields do we have in our database, in our table? We said insert, we are talking to the form, insert into users. How many fields do we have? I've told you that this idea will explain what it does for you. So we have, normally we have 4 fields, but this ID, I will explain what it does for you. So well, you can be using ID for any table you want to create it. You can be using ID as your first feed. Every other feed that you want to have in your form will be the rest. I will tell you what this ID, what it does, but please let's jump this ID now. So if you jump this ID now, how many feeds do we have? We have 3 feeds. And what are the names? Username, password, and email. So we now talk to the form. We say insert into users. That's it, insert into our table. What are the values inside the table? The fields inside this table: the username, the password, and what? The email. The username, the password, and what? And the email. So we now separate this field with what? With comma, because there's no other field again. That's why we did not put comma here. There's no other field again. So it's email that ends the field. So that's why we did not put any command here. So look at it now. Insert into, what's our table name? After the table name will be here, users. What are the fields in table users? The username, the password, and the email. That's why you have username, password, and email. So insert into users, username, password, email. That's at the field. Values. Value means what is the thing I have to insert inside this table. That is, what is the things I have to insert into this, and this? What are the things? That's what we now say dollar username, dollar password, and dollar email. What is dollar username? What is dollar password? What is dollar email? I've told you in PHP, whenever we make use of dollar sign, we are talking about what? Variables. When we are dealing with PHP, I explain this. Whenever we make use of dollar sign, is when we want to create a direct variable. If I say dollar name now, then that means I want to store my name inside this variable. So variable is in PHP starts with dollar sign. So here now we said a variable called dollar username, a variable called dollar password, a variable called what? Dollar email. So these are the values. You will see as we look at it now. Insert into the table name. The first field is username in the database. So we now ask it to insert this value, dollar username. You should insert it into what? Dollar username. The second field is what? Password. We now ask it to insert this field, dollar password, to what? To password. The third field is email. We ask it to insert what? $email into email. See, the way we arrange this username, password, email is the same thing we arrange the value username, password, email. So it's not as if you put username, password, email, you will now use username, email, password. There will be an error. So if you arrange username, password, email, then this one also will be $username, $password, and $email. So this is the command. This is where we use the MySQL query, insert query. This is where we use the insert query. Insert into our table name users. The field in the table name is what? Username, password, email. What are the values you want to insert? What are the things you want to insert into these three fields? Are the what? $username, the $password, and $email. So here now, the question you now ask me is, what is our $username? What is our $password? What is our $email? So this is where we declare the field, $username, $password, $email. This is where we declare it. And we said $username equals what? $_post username. We said $password is equals to $_post password. And we said $email is equals to what? $_post email. So you already know what our $username, $password, $email means now. So but what is our $post? You are using $post here. What is $post? Normally I will still tell you the things you just need to change in this form, but I'm just explaining all this code that you are seeing. I'm just explaining it for you. But after I finish explanation, I will still tell you the only thing you need to change in case of future purpose. Maybe you want to build a website and you want to create a registration form and you want to use this script now. So I will just tell you the things you need to change. You just need to change like 4 or 5 things. All these things now that $post, you don't need it. You can just copy it like that and run it, and it will work. You don't need to know it. Well, for the course of theory, that is why I'm just teaching you, so that if somebody asks you that what is $post, you'll be able to understand that this is $post. So that's why I'm just teaching you. So in this script now, you may not know all these code that are there. Once I just tell you the fields, the aspect you need to change. Once I tell you what you need to, you just need to change like 4 or 5 things. It will still run, but I'm just trying to teach you what, as in all these things, what it means. So what is our $post? If you can look at, these are the values you want to insert into this table name, as in this table field. Let me call this thing table field. There are 3 table fields. I asked you to jump ID. So these are the values you want to insert, and they are $username, $password, and $email. And what's $username? We say $post username, $post password, and $post email. So I will explain this for you. Let's look at our form. If a user, you give a user this registration link now, and the user wants to register, the user can say my username is Ade, my password is 123456, my email is ade@ade.com. At this particular instance that this user is on this present system and types this information, at this particular instance, this place now, this feed now that you are looking at, it's username feed. This feed that we are using now is a username feed. This feed now is a password feed, and this feed now is what? Is email feed. And that is what the name is. Under the naming inside the form, they name the first one. This first one, they name it what? Username. This second one, they name it what? Password. And this is naming password. And this third one, they name it what? Email. So this is the username feed, this is the password feed, and this is the what? The email feed. The username feed, the password feed, and the email feed. And that is why they name it. I've already taught you all this thing in HTML when we are talking about HTML forms. This is the naming, the username, this is the first text box. They name it username. That's why I said the first text box is what? It's named username. The second text box, the name is what? Password. That's why the second text box is what? It's password. And the type is password. That's why you see that the password is not showing. Whatever you enter is not going to show. And this, the third feed, the third text box, this third text box, what they name it? They name it as what? The email. They name it as email. Name it as email. So this feed is username, this feed is password, and this feed is email. So whatever the user enter that particular moment is what referred to as what? $_posts username. Look at it. So what the user enter here at this part, note this feed is what? This feed is username. You know that this feed that we are now is username. But whatever the user enter that particular moment is what we refer to as what? $post username. Whatever, so adding now is what? Is at this particular moment, this particular instance is what? Is $post username. So if another user go to this link now, maybe on his phone, and type caller at this particular moment, although this test feed now is, you name it username, but at this particular moment what this person enter, which is caller, is equals to what? Your $_post username at that particular moment. So whatever caller enter here in this second feed is what referred to as what? $_post password at that particular moment. Password at that particular moment. So whatever the user enter here at this particular moment is what referred to as $post what? Email at that particular moment. So when you see something like $post, it means what the user enter at that particular feed. So if the feed is username, if you name the feed username, then what the user enter in this test post at this particular moment will be what? $_post username. If you name the feed password, what the user enter in this particular test feed at this particular moment is what referred to as $_post password. And if you name the feed email, what the user entered in the email feed at that particular moment is what refers to as $post email at that particular moment. So note, if I enter 1 2 3 4 5 6 here, caller now is equals to what? Our $_post what? Username. 1 2 3 4 5 6 now is our $_post what? Password. And ade@ade.com is our $_post email at this particular moment. So the thing will change when another user goes to this registration form and try to register. Whatever the user enter here will be $_post username. Whatever it enter here, so like that. So that is why we said under our script, that is why we said $_post user. That is whatever the user entered as the username at that particular moment is going to store it to $username. Whatever the user enter in the password feed at that particular moment, you know, I've told you that our feed, the 3 feed that we have in our form is name, username, password, and email. So, and that is what you are saying. The name is what you are saying here: username, password, and email. So the username, password, and email is our feed, but this $post that we had here is what the user enter in that feed username at this particular moment will be $post. So the feed is password here in your form. The feed name is password here, but whatever the user enter at that particular moment is what? $post password. Whatever the user enter at that particular moment for email is our $post email at that particular moment. So $post username will save it with $username. $post password will save it with $post email will save it with $email. So that's why we now say insert into user. What are the table feed? The username, the password, email. What are the things to insert? Values. The thing, no, $username is the same thing as $post username. So what is $username now? $username is what the user enter at that particular moment. So if the user enter ade at that particular moment, ade will now be stored inside the table username at that particular moment. So if the user enter 1 2 3 4 5 6 as is $post password at that particular moment, 1 2 3 4 5 6 is going to be stored inside what? It will be values for what? The password table, as in the password table field. This place, password table field. Sorry, the password table. So right now, but our database now is insert into our table name. So but for this is table, so what database has this table? That's why we use the Mysql _select_db. So our name, the name of our database is market_db. So our database is what? Market_db. So it's inside this database as this table users is present. So our table name is what? Insert into, this is our table name, users. So insert our table name is users. So under the database what? Market_db. and our database is marked as 4DB, so it's correct. So we now say if we told you that MySQL query underscore query, when I was explaining that, I told you that it always accepts two parameters. The SQL is this, and it also accepts what the connection is this. So if all this, the SQL and the connection, if they have a problem, then you should post an error, could not enter the data. But if they do not have a problem, if there is no problem, that's it. If the SQL, what is the SQL? Is when we are inserting the dollar post inside our table. So we save it as a variable, $SQL. So when we are inserting our username, password, and email, what the user entered, when we are inserting it to our username, password, email feed in database, we store it as $SQL. We now say MySQL underscore query SQL slash the connection. So we say if this thing is not okay, we say you should say what will not enter the data. Else, if the stuff has inserts, that's it, if what the user entered in the registration feed, if they have inserted into the what the user entered in the registration feed, the same thing as the dollar post username, password, dollar post, dollar post, email, and the same thing as dollar username, dollar password, dollar email, what the user entered, if it has entered into the our table fields, username, password, and email, the table fields, if it enter, if what the user entered, if it enter into the table field, then we said you should say what enter data successfully. Entered data successfully. So that is what we said. So, and this is our forms that does the work. So now I believe all the parameters that we need to change is already here, is already correct. It's correct. So let's save this and run our code and see maybe our registration form is going to post to the database. So let's save this. We've saved it. So let's refresh this page. So let me start with user 1. Let me use username. Let me use first registrant, because it's just a 1 2 3 4 5 6. I use it as my password. Email, I use admin@markets.com. Register now. What did I say? Enter data successfully. So that means by the time we refresh, we go to under, this is just structure, so we have to go to select data, but we want to know how many users have registered. So let's click on select data. Right now, first registrant 1056 admin@market.com. So that means our form now is what is connecting to the database. Not only is connecting to the database, the data that the user enter in the form is also stored in database. Why is it that the data that the user entered, why does it stored in the database? Why? It's because of the owner, the web administrator, when they are creating the forms to collect data from the user, they make use of the insert scripts. So if you make use of the insert script, that means what the stuff, that's why you also inside your script. Inside your script, that's why you are saying something like insert into, because we make use of the insert query. So that is why whatever the user enter in the form is going to be what is going to be insert into the database. It's going to be stored inside database. So if another user comes now, let me say another user enter in this link and click Ade 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 and email ola@yahoo.com, and the user click on register. So if you now as the web administrator, you go to your database, whether you use your mobile PHP admin or you use your web PHP admin, and you click on select data in your database, you will discover that you will have seen that how many users have registered in this site today now. 2 users have registered. This is the first user and this is the second user. So even if a user register in US and you are in Nigeria, the web administrator is in Nigeria, you design the site in Nigeria, even if the user register in US, you will still receive the data in your database. And that is what will happen in Facebook. Facebook, a lot of people use it around the world. So irrespective of wherever you are, so far you go to the Facebook registration form and you fill the form. When you click on submit, register, automatically your data is also already stored inside Facebook database, even though you are not in the same country as their data, where their database is located. So what I'm trying to say in essence is this: when you create a registration form in your web page, whenever your site users, whenever they fill the form, irrespective of wherever they fill the form, automatically the information that they enter inside the form is going to be what? Is going to be stored in your database, and you can access that information in your PHP-admin. And that's what happens when you are writing JAMP. When you are writing JAMP, irrespective of wherever you register your JAMP form, by in the day of the exam, you will discover that the examiner, they are going to bring something called a photo card, and that photo card is going to contain all your information. You may be wondering that when I fill my JAMP form, I will not go back to the JAMP office to give them my data. How come do they have my data? Is when you register, your data is stored inside JAMP database. So they now print out the JAMP database, and they are able to, so they print it out. So right now, how many users did I have now? I have 2 users. This is the first user and this is the second user. So the ID that I asked you to omit the other time. So now I've told you about the user name, the password, the email. But what is the work of the ID? You will discover now that if there is no ID, I will not be able to know that is this first one, is this one that first registered, or this one that registered first. There is no way for me to know. But right now I can see that this ID is counting 1, 2. If I register another one, let's say let somebody register again. If another person register now, and click on register now, let me refresh this page. What did I say? 3. So it will be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to infinity. So as more user I register, then this thing is going to be what? Is going to be increasing. That's why we said is what? Is auto increment. When we are dividing it, when we are dividing the feed, we give it ID, feed ID. That's why we say ID. Then what do we have said? We say is what? Auto increment. Auto increment means what? As people are registering, it will just be counting 1, 2, 3. If somebody else register now, even if the person register from US, is going to be what? Number 4. If another person registers, the person is going to be what? Number 5. So in your scripts, there is no way you are saying ID. You didn't even use ID. There is no way you are not the one that is saying that okay, when somebody register, give it 1, give it 2. You didn't specify it in your scripts. But the database will know that whenever you receive an input from a form, whenever you input it will know when to be increasing it, and that is why we say you should have what? Auto increment. So you just be increasing it 1, 2, 3, and since the data that your ID is going to be storing, the data is in form of integer. That's why we give the data types ints, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to infinity, it's integer. That's why we give it what? That's why we do not give it varchar. We give it integer int data types. But the meaning of auto increment is that we want you to be increasing automatically, so that as new user is registering, there is a way for us to denote user that have registered before and user that just newly register. So right now I have 3 now. If I go out now and let's say I do not have access to my PHP-admin again, maybe because I didn't have internet connection, and a lot of people have been registered. Maybe let me say right now I have 3 users that have registered in my site. I now log out my system. I go out, and let's say around the world people are now registering. So later in the day I now log in back to my PHP-admin to look at how many users have registered. Normally I know that I stop at 3, but when I now log in back to my database, I go to market_db, I go to users, I now put under slave data, I now saw ID has count up to 60. Then I should know that how many user has joined. 57 new user has joined. So right now with this ID, I will be able to know those, as in the new users that just join my site. I will be able to know them. That's just the ID. That is what the ID, that's the work of the ID. So note, any table you want to create, it is advisable for you, the first field, please always make it what? ID, and give it auto increment compulsorily, and it must have an integer as the data types. So any table you want to create, irrespective of how many fields, this one now we only have 3 fields that we input: the username, the password, the email, but we want to put telephone number, matric number, we want to add new fields. Irrespective of how many fields you want to add, just make sure that the first field, let it be ID, and give it auto increment, and what? Let it as an integer as the table definition, so that you will not declare other fields that you want to be there. But the first field, let it have an ID, and that field ID should have a definition of auto increment and integer, so that by the time people are registering on your form, if they are registering on your site, it will just be counting 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 up to infinity for you. So that is just about inserting into the database. So that's just about the insert command, insert scripts. So inside this insert scripts that will make use of the insert query. This insert query that insert into user. So the table, the field inside the user are this. So what are the values to insert? $username, $password, $email, and I've already explained to you what the $username is. $_post. What is $_post username? What the person entered that particular time in that field username in your form. In that field username in your form is your $post username. So that's just the explanation of that. So thank you so much for listening to our insert command. So you can go to the next tutorial that talks about the update scripts, the select scripts, and the delete scripts. So thank you.